get Hank Green to watch this video. He can run down all the science stuff of it. And in an effort to niche down my channel, it's not a science channel, so I'm not going to go into the science that heavy. I'm going to gloss over a bunch of heavy science topics in this, though. Of course, you could do your own research instead of just listening to a guy on the internet. Anyway, wanted to talk about, well, obviously, if you clicked on this video about the fact that a thing, the universe at large, hates men, and by men I mean males in general. And no, this isn't like a Andrew Tate kind of stupid thing. The guy over at Drag Queen Wrangler School talks about this a little bit, and I think we need more positive male role models like himself, kind of supporting what men are going through, not just crazy Andrew Tate incel type people. But there is some truth to a lot of, I feel like, when I first had this thought, I was a kid, and I was watching Titanic, and I know that's showing my age a little bit, but there's this part of the Titanic where they're deciding who gets to get on the lifeboats to survive, and they're like, women and children only. And at that time, I was a child who was a boy, obviously, and I was like, wait a minute, so at some point you just let me drown, though? Like, because I'm not a children? And that was the first time I realized, okay, it's weird. We act like men have all the power, but men were obviously willing to just drown to let the women and children survive. And that's just human society. And I'm not even talking about human society. I'm talking about the universe at large, sexual selection in general. At the most gentle of the brutality, we have kind of like the whole bird of paradise thing, where these males, they adorn such beautiful feathers and they dance so violently and beautifully just to be mostly rejected by their female counterparts. And we see a lot of these mating rituals and dances in nature when it comes to mammals, which are our closest cousins. A lot of them, I mean, we have it easy compared to, at least we don't have to fight to the death and like be the alpha male. A lot of species, only the alpha male gets to mate with females at all, or he gets destroyed. If he's even allowed to be alive and be a part of the colony or the pride or whatever group of animals that we're talking about in this situation. When it comes, we all know about, praying mantises and spiders, the black widows specifically. And a lot of insects, like the males aren't even created unless it's specifically for mating. And after they mate, they die anyway, whether or not it is the female straight away killing them or not. A lot of males, once they are done mating, they die. With male mayflies, they don't even have mouths, and they mostly live for just one day. They exist to mate and die. That's the reason a male exists. When it comes to wasps, once they outlive their usefulness in the nest, they get kicked out. That's why you see wasps around September, October. They're roaming the world, starving, looking for food, because they used to be actually fed by the queen of the nest and live in the nest, but now they're just homeless and have to find somewhere to go. And that's probably why wasps are so angry. I forgive them. A part of me forgives them. A lot of fish, and I'm just talking about, like, just in general, every species has some version of this. Like a lot of fish, the males, they just eat the male to, like, the fish is like, the female's fish is way bigger than the male, and they'll eat the fish, the male fish, and his sperm will be stored in her body, and his usefulness is done. And this reflects a lot, yes, in human society, human culture, and how selective females are, and they should be selective. The female, in most situations in the animal kingdom, is, left with a lot of the load of, especially if the male immediately dies, they're left with all of the load of taking care of the children. And unlike the male, which a lot of people have this argument, when it comes to pregnancy and stuff, and why men seem to be more apt to a poly lifestyle than women, is because men evolutionarily weren't stuck with the actual work of raising the mate. They could just get multiple partners pregnant and continue on their nomadic lifestyle in their own clan or whatever. But when it comes to other animals, and I haven't even gotten to one of the things that really broke my heart when it kind of like really inspired me to make this video, is when I learned about veal. And I guess trigger warning if you don't know what veal already is. And I don't know how I was this old and didn't know exactly what veal was. But when I looked it up, it broke my heart. And for those of you who don't know, veal is usually meat from very young male calves, usually slaughtered the day they're born. And the reason they're slaughtered is because, well, the male cattle that we keep, they're specifically bred bulls, alphas. And if they are not the specifically bred bull, well, they're not even allowed to mate. They really have no reason to exist except for their meat. Which is pretty cold-hearted, but it's kind of what I'm thinking about. Is globally, it kind of seems like the universe itself really just uses us to pack genetic information for the next generation. And we don't even get as much genetic information as women, which I think is funny about the idea of Adam coming from Eve's rib, when Eve would have had more genetic information than Adam. But that's totally a story for a different video. Maybe not ever a video that I want to do on this specific channel. Maybe it will be. But in general, males have it pretty bad. I'm leaving out a species. Oh, my favorite. Birds. So for a lot of you who don't know, most birds don't have penises. And this is kind of why I said tag Hank Green, because a lot of this is science and biology, but this gets into the genetics of it a little bit. But from my understanding of genetics, like I said, tag Hank Green, all the information genetically that creates penises comes from the female. So they completely have control over whether or not we even have a penis. And birds were so infamously rapey, they SA'd their partners so much evolutionarily that female birds had to develop ways to stop being SA'd by male birds. And a lot of them, well, most of them just completely took their penises entirely. And birds have cloacas instead, and you can look up how that reproduction works. And one of my favorite examples is the duck maize vagina, which is the most interesting thing I've ever seen in the biological, well, I guess it's not the most interesting. If you've seen slug sex, look it up. I warned you though, like, you might not like it. You might not like that one. I thought it was cool. But you can look it up on YouTube. I'm not gonna put a link though. But ducks have evolved maize vaginas that lead to false vaginas, because ducks still SA their female partners so often that they had to develop a way to not be forced to carry their SA person, SA assaultee. I don't know what word to use. SA, or they don't want to be forced to carry on that genetic information, so they have evolved to have maze vaginas that lead to false vaginas, so every time they get SA'd, and that's the last time I'm saying this in this video, they don't get impregnated by the random duck that they did not choose. All of this is too sad. I think it's a very real feeling, and this is really, defending my, because a big thing with my feelings about romance and having a partner in the future, a lot of people, fall on the, well, you don't love yourself enough, and you gotta just be comfortable with yourself. And I'm telling you, like, from a human spiritual standpoint, and as much spiritual bypassing as I can use to, but I'm not even an actual physical human entity, so I have no desires whatsoever, because all is Maya, the illusion, blah blah blah. Gotcha, get that. But as far as I am a human mammal incarnated in a physical body, it kind of feels that as a male being incarnated in the physical body, that I am literally useless if my whatever I've got isn't like to serve a female or a family or something in that way. And I guess that's the conclusion of the video. That I don't think it is just a thing in my own head. I think it's a thing genetically. Males basically don't have a purpose except to pass genetic information. And since I already have kids, I'm useless to the universe now. Like, the universe is like, I got what I wanted out of you. Like, now you can die. But maybe that's not. Well, I guess my stuff's not super positive. And I guess that's the thing. But thanks for watching if you got this far, and like and subscribe if you liked this one. And as always, stay mindful. That's what I say. That's my tagline. I'm the tag. This is it. This is the tag. This is it. This is the tag.